Now, we've all gone out and bought some really cool stuff at some local antique shops and thrift stores, but I'm going to give you a secret today of where to find the really best deals, and they don't even know it. Stay tuned. Welcome back to RB's Toy Box. Today's kind of special because we're going to kind of follow up with my beginning of the year walkthrough video. I had put out for folks to put in the comments below, and you can still do that, by the way. If you want to jump over to that video, I'll link that at the end.
What are you doing?
And take a look at kind of our 2024 walkthrough, which is kind of the new arrangement that I put here to try to find a slot for stuff. But I invited everyone to put in the comments something that maybe you saw that you would like a video on, and someone mentioned this clock.
Inconceivable.
And I thought it was a really good idea because, you know, I've been kind of giving some personal advice, but now it's time to put it out there for everybody to know about. Now, when you go thrift shopping and antiquing and stuff like that, you know, you're probably like me, you get kind of frustrated because when people are paying to put a booth out there, they're paying big money. I mean, it's top dollar out there to, you know, because they're probably paying $300 or $400 in rent for the booth. And then they're going to put stuff in. They're going on eBay. They're going on, you know, Macari. They're going on all these different places to find out what they should price that for. And so you go to a flea mall or a thrift store, you're not getting the best deal anymore. Now, today I mentioned I'm going to give you a secret of where you can shop and get the best deals. And that's where this comes into play. Now, over the summer, and here's another one here too, by the way. Yep. We have gotten some really cool stuff, this being one of them as well. But here's the secret. Over the summer, my wife is a full-time school teacher. You guys know that. So to kind of give her something to do over the summer, she works at a thrift store. Now, not just any thrift store, a Christian thrift store. Now, where that comes into play for this and some of these other things that I have picked up is that in most, if not every, Christian thrift store that I have come across, and I've gone, I mean, pretty much a bunch of them in Florida.
Surely you can't be serious.
From Fort Myers, Naples, all the way up to Tallahassee, all the way into Pensacola, and even a few in Georgia. They have stuff on the shelf that they look at it and they're going, I don't know, what, $5? Something like that. You know, they don't take the time to look it up online. Now, there might be some out there that do, and there might be some out here that watch this video and decide to start doing it. I don't know. That's why you want to buy them fast. But at the end of the day, my wife was able to bring home boxes of stuff for pennies on the dollar because they either didn't want to take the time to look up stuff and find out what the value of it is because it was donated to them, and they're just putting a decent price on there to throw it back out there and rotate through the inventory. Now, especially the one that my wife works at, over the summers, I mean, they are slammed. They have storage rooms packed all the way to the ceiling full of stuff that's been donated to them. So they want that stuff to move out fast. And I mean, even to the point where they look at it and say, this will never sell. And then they just put it in a box and throw it in a dumpster. And my wife actually brought a whole set of these antique trains that literally are dated probably in the 40s that just need to be cleaned up a little bit. And I mean, you have this antique train set. It was in great shape. There were 3 or 4 of these engines. They were going to throw them away.
You're crazy.
So with that, again, someone asked to take a look at that. This is a really nice piece. Now, I have not taken time to restore it or anything. It is literally like I got it, and it's on my to-do list. But this is one of the more antique-y ones that you're not going to find on Amazon or anything, to where, you know, the front end opens up right? So you can go in there and work with the timepieces. The back end opens up. This is actually the pendulum kind. So it has a little door in the back that has the spring and the pendulum and everything. I mean, I know you probably can't see it there, but on the video, but man, is that not just old school workmanship inside of that wooden housing? And one of these days when RB's Toy Box gets totally bored, I have all the pieces and everything in here to go through and completely redo this and make it beautiful. But this was like $1 at, you know, if you were to go over to, you know, an antique flea mall, or you were to go over to even an antique, just an antique store, this thing in its condition right here would be $70 to $100. It was $1 because they looked at it and they were like, it's an old clock. Who cares? Just get rid of it. It doesn't even work. Just get rid of it. $100. And that's the kind of deals that we need as collectors to be able to say, you know what? If I'm going to take it and clean it up and resell it, I don't want to pay $70 for this to turn around and sell it for $70. Or like me, I'm probably never going to sell my stuff, but it'd be nice to have a nice working model that I didn't have to pay a small fortune for to put up on my shelf. Especially a lot of the stuff that you see here at RB's Toy Box, I picked up dirt cheap, yard sales, flea markets, stuff sitting in tubs that nobody would ever care or want for, or I bought it in a lot and it was broken. And so I would take my time. You guys have seen my little workstations. I would take my time and go through and fix them and make them work in the area that it needed to actually work in. Now, things like this, you know, I'll get to it. I like most of the stuff that I put on my shelf, I want to be functional. And so I look for stuff that's functional. But if I can't get it functional and affordable, I'll get it broken and cheap and then just fix it. Because a lot of this stuff, especially folks like that have been following RB's Toy Box, remember to like and share. But those that have been following RB's Toy Box know that you can pick stuff up that is of an older generation, that is made of a much higher quality than the stuff that you would buy, you know, today, and really be able to have solid components in there. And most of the time it's dirty. It just needs to be fixed because it's dirty. You clean these things out and they work fantastic. They sit on somebody's shelf. They collected dust, a little bit of moisture around the edges or something, and boom, it doesn't work. Let's get rid of it for $1, $5, something like that. You pick it up, you clean it up, and if you wanted to, you could turn around and resell this for $60, right? So that's the kind of stuff that you got to look for. But, you know, just like everything else, there's stuff that I pay retail for. But that's because that's the only way to get it right now. And there's a lot of stuff that collectors like myself are starting to pick up on in the sales market, that they're like, all right, we're going to assign a 30% appreciative value to it. Guys, that's wrong. You shouldn't be assigning any percentage of appreciated value to anything. When you go to sell something, it should be placed off of collectible market value, not appreciated percentage value. In other words, I think this is probably going to be worth X amount of dollars in 5 years. So I'm going to mark this up by the appreciated percentage, which I think is going to be 30%. And then I put it out there. So I'm going to take my original investment, mark it up, and then put my appreciated value on it. That's not how that should work, my opinion. I think if you take this and you're like, okay, I paid X amount for it. I repaired it, so I have 2 hours in it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it up by 20%, which is a reasonable expectation for any product based upon what I have in it and versus what I'm going to sell it for. That's the mindset that will keep collectors collecting. Because if we keep taking stuff like this and pricing it out of the market for people that are collectors at heart, I mean, if you take a look at my entire collection, if I bought all this stuff at retail, man, you'd all think I'm loaded, and I'm not. Most of this stuff, like I said, was stuff that I bought on clearance. I mean, all of my pops, you pick them up on clearance for, you know, a couple of dollars, and they're, you know, retail about. People are taking pops and putting them out there on, you know, eBay and stuff like that. They're trying to get full retail price plus an appreciated value for it, or percentage value for it. And that's just not right. If you only paid $2 for that, and you've had it on your shelf for a year, mark it up 20% of what you paid for it and put it up there on eBay. That's the right and fair way to do it. But let's roll it back to the end of this video and say, hey, if you're looking for a great place to get a great deal, keep your eyes open for places like Lighthouse. There's a Lighthouse thrift store in just about every town. You know, thrift stores that are run by churches, for the most part, don't care about how much something is worth. They look at it and say, it was donated. I think I can get $20 for it. Out it goes. And there'll be some people in there that are like, hey, you know, you charge more.
I don't believe in a no-win scenario.
I picked that television that you guys see in that, at the great big 32-inch Toshiba CRT television, was $2 at a Christian swap meet, basically, where they opened up the garage and they brought everything in. I spent $2 on it. Who knows what it's worth, but I mean, you know, $2. I want to enjoy the snot out of that thing for a few years. And then as CRTs appreciate up, I'm going to look at it and say, you know what, I got $2 invested in it. It's probably going for $150, $200 for it. I'll sell it for $50, $60. You know, and that, again, is the best way to do it, because you're not out there trying to be Mr. Retail Sales and make a fortune in your resale stuff. You want to try to be a blessing to other collectors. Just like when I sell my stuff, I'm trying to be a blessing to other collectors. But I don't want to lose money either, right? But I'm not going to take something that I paid, you know, $1 for and try to get $300 for it. Now, that's RB's Toy Box way of doing things. That may not be your way of doing things. And you know what? I get that. You know, we all got to make a living. Maybe this is your only form of income, is collecting and selling, and I get that. But if you're looking for an inexpensive place that you can pick up something really cool, that's probably got some old electronics sitting on the shelf, some older toys, collectibles, vintage stuff, check out Christian thrift stores, because you're going to get some really good values there. Now, I got some cool videos coming up here super soon. I have a whole Battlestar Galactica on a budget. We're going to call it Battlestar on a budget. You want to keep your eyes tuned for that. It's coming up in just a matter of days. I'm going to start filming on that. I've got jackets. I've got helmets. I've got laser pistols. I'm going to show you how to take them and get them altered to fit. And, you know, from a distance, nobody's going to be able to tell. And it's not going to be the screen use stuff. This is, you know, no one I can tell has ever made a video on buying an eBay Battlestar Galactica jacket. I'm going to make them. I bought 2 of them. They're absolutely fabulous, and I'm going to show it to you here on Arby's Toy Box. You make sure you stay tuned.